And it's time for me to start the live stream. Welcome if you're watching from the archive, and welcome if you're watching live. If you're watching live, sorry, I didn't mute my other thing. If you're watching live, you can ask me questions while I'm working, just about anything, and I'll hopefully be able to explain it to you pretty well. I'll also just talk and explain what I'm doing as I'm doing it. And yeah, let me know if you have any complaints or anything. Sorry, I just have to respond to this text. I know, super good etiquette for starting my first live stream. Okay, so let's do this. So today we're doing an Off-White script for the Off-White Nike drop. I've got Off-White pulled up here. I've already got the tab muted because it auto-plays a video. And yeah, I'm just going to break down my script making process here. Just let me get everything together. All right. So the first thing I do when I'm making a script for a website is I like to check what the website is made using, what e-commerce platform it goes with. So I have a plugin on Google Chrome for that, and it's what is it? It's called Wappalizer. You can download it. There's also I think a website that'll you can type in a link and it'll tell you what it's made with. But Wappalizer helps you, and if a website's made with a certain platform, it'll let you know. Since this one doesn't have any e-commerce platform standing out, I'm not sure which one it is, so I'm just gonna not go with that. If I went to like Kith, when you go to a website like Kith, you can immediately see that it's a Shopify website, as it says here, Shopify e-commerce, and the plugin turns to a Shopify icon. So it's super nice, but for this situation, it doesn't really apply to Off-White because you don't see any e-commerce platforms here. There are other ways to figure out which platform it's using, but yeah. So, the next thing I need to do is I'm going to clear out my shopping bag because I was just looking at some products earlier, doing some tests. Okay, cool. Cart is cleared, and yeah, let's get going. So basically, I'm going to go to Shop Men's, and I'm going to start looking for a product to test on. So the first thing, it doesn't matter what product I'm testing on. Right now, I'm just trying to see the flow of how an add to cart works on this website. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to find a product, and I'll do this jacket here. It's the most standout one, so you'll be able to tell if I added a cart. We're going to look at it, and we're just going to break it down, look at the page, and we're going to see that it's in stock. You do have to choose a product that's in stock because we're testing the add to cart flow. So basically, we're going to look at the sizes, and we're going to just choose one. But before we add to cart, we're going to go to, I'm using Google Chrome, by the way. We're going to go to Inspect, and we're going to go to Network, and we're going to go here, we're going to clear it using this button, so our log is clear, and we're just going to hit add to bag. So I've got a small chosen now. We're going to hit add to bag, and it's going to load, and as you can see, when we hit add to bag, populate.json popped up, and that was a post request. If it's a post request and it popped up right when you hit add to cart, that's usually going to be the add to cart method on the website. Sorry. So yeah, you got that, and that's the add to cart URL, and you can tell that because it's a post request on most websites, and it went through. 200 means it's good, and if it's green, that obviously means it's good. And yeah, and then you have the form data here, which is the important part. The form data is so here we have UTF-8, and that's a check mark. So we're just going to ignore that. That's just kind of normal. Then we have authenticity token. This one is kind of odd to me. There's not an actual token in here. It just says authenticity token. It's blank. And then we have variant ID, which is the product. So that product, the variant ID, is this jacket in small. So that's what this number represents. And then quantity 1. Everyone knows what that means. It means you're adding 1 to cart. These other ones are presumably just getting the cart and making sure it's in stock. So these can be ignored. And yeah, so the next thing I do, this is one of my favorite utilities I use, and it's a bit of a cheat, but I quite enjoy it. You go to the request here, you right click it, hit copy, and you do copy as CURL or a curl, Now you want to go to curl.trillworks.com. You paste in this curl here, and it'll automatically get the headers and data into a request, and always ignore cookies. So just go ahead and delete those cookies. Now you may say, well, you're not even coding anything there. Well, the problem, not the problem, the reason I do that, and the reason it's not like cheating, is because I would be doing the same thing anyways, except I'd be doing it like this. I would be going here, I'd manually copy this, make a data, I manually type it in. It's quicker, and there's no reason not to do it. So yeah. And it's not like this is the whole program. There's a lot more to it that we're going to get to just now. So once we have the post request extracted and in Python, this is what it looks like here. We're going to go ahead and take cookies out of the request here. And if this is too fast for you, don't worry. I'm going to be having much slower Python video tutorials soon. This is just a video showcase. These live streams just showcase my general workflow and my speed and just what things are doing. So yeah. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and save this. I'll go ahead and make a folder, off-white. That's what I do for all the things I make. Made off-white, and I'll call it just, my general thing is I usually call my scripts main.py. Just kind of what I do. Some people say app.py. Some people would say off-white.py, but I figure because it's already in a folder called off-white, it's clarified. So yeah, we'll give that a save. It's in the folder here, and now we're going to get started making an actual program. So sure, we have this ADC request, but where's it going? What are we doing with it? I mean, currently right now, there's not like it's not like it's doing anything for us. So what we're going to do now is I will break down the actual beginning of the application. So I usually like to make a class, and I always call it off-white or site name API. It's just kind of my thing. Louis Vuitton API. Mesh API, Foot Patrol API, etc. And it's going to be an object. We'll go ahead and initialize our main class here. And it appears there's a variable here, which is a region. So I think in the initialization I can do a region. And it'll be a string, and it's got to be uppercase. Okay. As I said, if this is too fast for you, that's the point of these live streams. I'm just breaking down. If you have any questions, I'm here to help. Okay, so we got all that. Let's make a request session. A request session is pretty basic how it works. It's just, instead of doing a bunch of requests.get, instead of doing all those, they're all intertwined. So if you add to cart on a request session and then you get the cart on the same session, that works. It'll show the item in the cart. But if these weren't on the same session, you would add to cart, then you'd get the cart, and it wouldn't be in the cart. So hopefully that makes sense. It's like a request session is like a browser session. So yeah. We're gonna format, and I'm also gonna go ahead and highlight it all. And Sublime has a thing where you can convert the indentation of tabs. See all these little dots? That's spaces. I like tabs over spaces. Now they're all nice tabs. Yeah. One sec. So cool. New Relic ID. I'm pretty sure New Relic is an analytics program. Yeah, I've looked this up before. Yeah, it's just an analytics program, so you can get rid of this in headers. We're also gonna globalize the headers in our class, so self.headers, so you can access them from any function. I'm gonna get rid of the refer here. Okay, and this seems pretty bare bones. What I requested with, what I'm accepting, site. Yep, looks good to me. The data is for the actual add to cart. So we'll make a new function called add to cart. We want to get a variant ID in there, and I think that's all. And it's also got to be self. Yep, looks good to me. Now we're going to pass in the variant ID. We also want this to be a string, so variant ID is string variant ID. Cool. Okay. So that looks good. I'm actually going to call this VID to make things easier. So now we're passing this into the request. This stuff can all stay the same. And this request can go in this. And it's not request.post, it's self.s.post because that's our session. And that looks good to me. Now I want to go ahead and handle the region issue. So let me go ahead and look at the other regions. So we'll go here, we'll clear our bag. And let's see their country options. Okay, this is a lot. So when I go to a website and it has countries, I usually choose like some major countries and not every single one on this list, because if I did that, I'd kind of have a massive migraine for a week. So I'm just going to go ahead and choose the US. So that's pretty straightforward. The region code's US. So let me go ahead and comment here for myself. So the UK, GB, US. I'll just go ahead and write all the codes. GB, US. I'm going to assume Canada's CA. And I'll just stick with those three for now. Looks good to me. You can easily add them because it's just that little part in the URL. So I'm going to change the region back to UK. There we go. Okay, good stuff. Cool. All right. Now let's go back to this program and let's do the region handling. So it appears how it works is just in all the URLs, it's a base URL with the region code in the back. So yeah, and there's also a language code here. If a thing says EN, that's always language. EN, FR, lowercase, those are language codes. Most sites have those, but you can ignore them because this could be EN, but this could be like Hong Kong, so it doesn't matter. Language code's arbitrary. So that's our base URL. I'll call that what it is, base URL. Okay, then I'll tack on the region at the end there. So yeah, let's do that. And then I'll finish it off with another slash. Actually, no, just needs to be that. Cool. So now our URL is going to be whatever our region is, which we will pass in at the beginning. Making some pretty good headway here. Cool. Now what we're going to do is, I like to, when I first, initialize the class, I like to get the site. So that's just telling the site that we visited it. Some sites actually do check for this, that you didn't. My example for this is, what we're doing right now is we are, actually I'm just going to do the base URL. What we're doing right now is we are, this thing, when the program starts, that's what init means, initialize. So when the program initializes, it runs this. It does not run ATC yet. It'll run this, so it'll set the region, it'll start the request session, it'll set the base URL, which based on your region, it'll set the headers, and then here, we're visiting the site like a normal person. It would be the equivalent of me going here, going to the site like I'm a normal person. Some sites do check for this, because when you don't do this, in the server side, it'll literally look like I just added a cart out of the air. Like that's the equivalent of not visiting the first page. So when you visit the first page, all suspicions are gone. It's kind of a superstitious thing I do, and you can speed up some programs by getting rid of this, but personally I'm in the wheelhouse that you should visit the site first with requests. Now, after that, this is all looking good. We will do the ATC. So here's our base URL. Also, let me go ahead and, I don't know why that's doing that, yeah. Alright, go ahead and use our base URL here. And add to cart request. Cool. Looks good to me. And let's also give it a name, the request, so ATC post. And we can also go ahead and, to make sure this worked, we can print out post dot, what's it called? Status code. So we're going to print and see if that worked out. So now to actually run our program, at the bottom here, we're going to make a new object called off-white API. Yep. Off-white API. And we are going to give it the region of, let's do UK. Oh, not UK. Literally the one thing I couldn't do. I don't know why I did that. Okay, so now we're initializing a new off-white website with the region UK or Great Britain. Now we're going to off-white.atc and we're going to give it the variant ID. Let's choose a product. It's not going to matter, but let's still choose a product. Let's just go here. This is I'll automate this process too. So based on keywords, it'll pull up a page and give you the variant IDs. So you won't have to manually find it. Although this is how you do it if you're interested. So I think that this is small. So if I pass in the variant ID there, yep, we're looking good. So now I will pull open a terminal window, bring it over here. Okay, we're gonna, it's called main.py. Okay, we're gonna run it, and global name headers is not defined. Ah, right. So here, because I made this a self, I need to change this to self to match that. And now it's going 200. 200, if you remember correctly from my beginning thing, 200, I don't have it here. 200 means success. So that means supposedly it went well. It could have went well and said it's like out of stock or had an error of carting. So 200 doesn't mean it added to cart. 200 means it went through. Whatever it was, it went through and it worked. Does not mean you added to cart. It means it went through. So now that we've done that, I think what I'm going to do here with the off-white, just for a proof of concept, I think I'm going to do something that I did last time with my Louis Vuitton thing, and I'm just going to have it pop up in a browser while I'm working this out and setting everything up. So to do that, we need to use Selenium. It's a module in Python that runs and operates a browser, so it's pretty useful. I think that's what it is. We're going to initialize our driver here next to the session. That's not how you do it. I think it's that. Yeah, I don't use WebDrivers a lot, sorry. Just going to do some formatting here. And now what I have to do is I have to pass the cookies from the driver to the request session. It's very confusing, I know, but it'll make sense in a second. So right now, the request session and the browser session, the browser that we're using to display it carded and allow you to check out and etc. Right now, these are separate. So the request session is like one browser. It's like one. So the request session is like having Safari open, and this driver session is like having Chrome open. They're not speaking to each other. So if you have, if you're logged into Google on Safari, you're not going to be logged into Google on Chrome. So what I'm doing right now with the request session and the Selenium session is I'm going to combine them. So it is like if you're signed in on Safari, you're signed in on Chrome, if that makes any sense. Yep. So now let's do that. So I think I'm going to do it here, and I'm going to replace this. I'm going to make it where the driver gets it. So I'm going to start that off. So the driver will visit the page first, not the browser, not the request session. Now we're going to, I think I'm going to get the cookies from the driver here. I'm pretty sure this is the way I did it on my Louis Vuitton thing. Now I'm going to set cookies here based on their values. this in detail will be explained later. This might confuse you. What's the benefit of combining the sessions? Wouldn't it be easier to check cart using a GET request and BS4 to check for the item? Yes, it would. So, that is what I plan on doing, and that's what I did for my personal Louis Vuitton one, the one I didn't release. So, yeah, that's the plan later on, and actually I'll do that right after I get the browser session working. And I'll also have, I think I'll add a variable where you can enable the browser or not. But yeah, I do agree with you, and that is definitely the quicker and more efficient way to do it. I just like physically seeing it in my cart and knowing I did everything right using Selenium, if that makes sense. So yeah. But yeah, you're right. So yeah, got all that going. Then I'm just gonna get the cart URL here, which is, it's just /cart, so it's the base URL /cart. So I'll go ahead and driver. I think this will work, and I'll do /cart. Cool. Let's give it a go. All right, browser opened over here. Sorry, I've got a few monitors. Go ahead and mute this. This is what I dislike about Selenium. It's just so slow. Like, you could be operating right now without this loading. And ATC takes exactly 2 arguments, 1 given. Variant ID takes 2 arguments, 1 given. Wait, let me close this. Right. I don't know why I typed that. Let me restart it. Okay. Hopefully this works. Gonna mute this tab again. And yeah, after this I think I will do the requests cart check. Okay, 200, and it's in cart. So yeah, now you have visual reference that it did add a cart, the exact product you wanted. And yeah, and if you wanted to manually check out, you now could. So now that's an option. So let's work on the request side of things. Now let's go ahead and import Beautiful Soup. Pretty sure that's right. So bad with remembering modules and everything. Okay, and let's call it as BS. That makes things easier. A lot less typing to do. Yeah. We'll keep those there for reference. Cool. I'm liking it so far. To speed things up, I will go ahead and add the driver. So another thing will be browser enabled, which is going to be no while we're working on this. So let's do false. Let's do a Boolean. False. That way we can easily do if browser enabled in a very Pythonic way. If browser enabled, we can actually call this up here before that, and this too. All right. If the browser is enabled, it will do all of this. What am I doing? Yep. Okay, it'll do all that if the browser is enabled, and if it's not, it'll just ignore that. Now also, we're going to do that here. If browser enabled. Okay. Cool. And let's just keep the status code print, but let's format it a little bit. All right. Now it should operate without a browser. Cannot concatenate. Oh, right. There. Nope, not there. Yep, it's got to be a global variable. So I have to do self.browser enable. That's the one redundant part about doing self in classes in Python. You have to do self in front of everything you want to be used in all the classes. So now I have to do self here. Self there. Yep, status code 200. Cool. I'm liking it. It's coming together well. So, using Beautiful Soup. Beautiful Soup is a module that allows you to take the source code of a page, so the HTML code, the skeleton, and it'll let you sift through it and pick out certain elements you want. So, for example, with Beautiful Soup, you could grab the text on this page that says this. You could grab this part, off-white, defining the gray area between black, etc. You could get this text and then print it out in Python. All using requests. That's the very nice thing about using Beautiful Soup. So that's what that does. And today we're going to use it to print out what's in cart versus using the browser. So yeah, and it's a lot quicker to use Beautiful Soup than use Selenium. As you could even see, it was just sluggish. So yeah. Let's do this. Where to start? Oh yeah. So let's just make a new thing called cart printout. Sorry, I'm trying to think. Let's just call it get cart. That's what I wanted to call it. Get cart. Shouldn't need anything there. And yeah, this is pretty straightforward actually. So we're gonna do self.s.get self.base URL / cart. So it's going to get the cart, and we'll call it cart response. Actually, let's call it cart get. And if we print cart get.text after we add to cart, so let's do this, off-white dot get cart. Yeah, looks good to me. All right, we're going to go here. It should print the HTML code of the cart after adding the cart. Okay, request forbidden by administrative rules. I think it's because I didn't pass in the headers. Hopefully that's what it is. Self.headers. Let's see. In the case that it's not. Nope, it's just the headers. Typically it's the headers if you have problems with HTML requests. And as you can see here, it's printing out just a mess of code, but in it, it says, what is it? The jacket there. Price of the jacket. Yeah, bag's empty, car's empty, subtotal, total price. It's got the jacket name there. Okay, and then it should have a picture actually. I think I can open this. Yeah. So it's clearly getting it. Let's copy all this. Let's break it down. Copy, let's see what we're working with, and let's look at it in Sublime. So this is looking like JSON to me, unless I'm wrong. Fair, yeah. So that actually, when you get the text from this request, it gives you JSON, which makes things pretty easy for me. Yeah, that's weird. Alright, well apparently when you get the bag on off-white, it'll print out, when you get the bag response on off-white, it'll print out in JSON your bag's situation. So here, ignore the bag is empty thing. What this is it's a string telling the website what to print if there's nothing in the bag. But this isn't actually what it's saying. It's saying that your bag's price is that. It's saying that there's one thing in your bag. Because if there was nothing in your bag, why would it say you have an item count of 1 with all this in it? Yeah. So we're going to use a method to get it through JSON. So I'm gonna have to reference my Louis Vuitton thing really quick. I'm terrible with JSON. I will not need BS4. You are correct. I'm still keeping it imported because I feel like I'm going to need it down the road, especially when I'm starting on checkout and further things. But yeah, I will not. Okay, let's break this down. So you've got item count and you've got line items. And line items has all your stuff. Total price has your total price of your bag. Translations we don't need. Sign in, I guess we could use, but yeah. Cool. All right. Yeah, I will change this to JSON, and that should still work. Yeah, now it's a JSON object. Now I should be able to do cart JSON equals cart.get.json, cart.get.json. Let's do print cart JSON. Let me see if I remember how to do this correctly. This is total price. Let's just try this one. If I do that, it should print the total price from what I remember. No, instant has no object. Get item. Print cart JSON. Let me see. I do a JSON dump here. I don't prefer. I know that's a feature in requests, but I prefer using the Python JSON module. Makes things easier. So yeah, not saying your idea is bad, and I know you can do it that way, but I always just use the Python JSON module. Or maybe I am messing up. Maybe I should have imported that, but maybe not. Let me see. Yeah, okay. How did I do it here? Yeah, JSON loads, that's what it is. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, and I do .text. JSON loads. Mind you, this might not fix it, but that's, yeah, there it goes. That's how I do my JSON requests. Not JSON requests. That's how I do my JSON handling in Python. I just prefer it like that. I know you can do .json, but when it works like this, it's just so nice because then it's like a nice object. It's like a tree. So if I wanted to get, the variant ID, I think I do line items, then I do variant ID. Nope. Listen dice must be integers, not str. Right. Let me see. Yeah, okay. And then here I do SKU in stock. Okay. Back on it. So if that's a JSON object, then sorry, I'm just trying to think here. I'm terrible with JSON. Not terrible, but it's not my biggest proficiency. Yeah, I think this will give me an error. Yeah, listen dice must be integer, not string. Okay. So if we do cart, let's just print out our cart. So let's do this. So let's do off white cart. Let's do the quantity. So item count, quantity. And let's do this is my method for printing a line, by the way, in Python. So whatever you want to use your line material, I like doing just a equal sign. You do times like a certain number, so maybe like 50, and now that's going to be 50 of those printed. It's kind of a nice little way to do that. It should say, okay. Oh yeah, gotta make you a string. Always forget that. Yeah, so now there's one item in the cart. I think if I move this to 2, you might not be able to add 2 things to cart. Yeah, 0. So that's got to stay at 1. Save that to stable on their site. 1. Cool. Now we'll have it print. So the way that this does, what is it? The way that this does, the JSON, let's print out cart JSON. Now if I jumped the gun and just went straight to variant ID, that wouldn't happen, would it? Yeah, variant ID, that doesn't work. So I have to do line items. And then when you print out line items, is this a JSON object too? No, that's not JSON. Okay, that's just going to be a Python list. Okay then. So I think what you would do would be .get, which is, because I think that's a dictionary. This could be so wrong. I think this is .get, and then you do .get and what you want. Python lists, they're so disorganized. Yeah, there's no attribute. .get. Ah, it's a list. Okay. One sec. I mean, maybe .index. Name not on list. Uname. Oh, that's kind of weird. It's literally a list. Yeah, I think I figured it out. That's just weird. I think I figured it out. It's going to be list items. If my suspicion is correct here. Just list items. Line items. Sorry, I'm doing some troubleshooting here. This isn't a normal JSON. It's got a... Yeah, okay. My suspicion was correct. So the reason I was having trouble with this is because... So this is a JSON object, all of this, but the actual products in your cart are held as a Python list, and for every product it's another one of these things, but because there's only one product I was thrown off. So I think if I had another product, it'd be considered another thing in line items. So this thing I get here, I can then, with this, I can then get the thing, I think. I could be so wrong. Yeah, okay, now I can get the name. Okay. See, we made it, it's alright. So for product info name. Yeah. Okay, I'll have to change this down the road for ways to handle multiple products in cart, but for one product in cart, this works great. So yeah, that works. I don't know, if I want to handle multiple products, I should probably do it now. So let's do that. So for product in cart JSON, I can print the product name. So I'll do it like this. Yeah, all right, I like this. Yeah, and I can print out, okay, perfect. This is actually a nice way to do it, actually. So product is the current product selected. So if there are 3 products in the cart, it'll run through this JSON a few times, and every time it runs through the JSON, it'll select another product. So every time it does do this, it'll print out another attribute. So yeah, so print name. That's going to be product name. Let's see the other variables we can work with. Variant ID. Don't need the designer name because it's obviously going to be Off-White. Let's do price next. Product full price. All right. And then let's do the variant ID. Print variant. Let's just call it a VID, like I do in my program. Sorry for getting tripped up earlier, spending about 10 minutes trying to figure out that freaking JSON problem, but we got it. That's a big part of programming, just being confused and eventually getting it. Alright, so now it should iterate through your cart and print out every product nicely, or not. That's because this needs to be a string. I'm going to force a string on all these, even though 2 of them already are strings inherently. Okay. Now if we should have 0 errors. Or not. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. Yeah. Cool. Now, one more last thing. I'll say, yeah, I like that. All right. So I'll have a mini list in this list, mini like printout in this big printout. Let me clear my console so I can display to you what I'm trying to do here. So I'll do a smaller line, and I'll do times 30. Actually, let's bump this one up. Let's do times 70 here, and then times 40 here. And then on top of this, I'll say print. Every time I go in here, in cart, this will be an integer, plus equals 1. And I'll do print. Then let's do that. I don't even think I need that. Then if we do a new line, I have an idea. Yep, this is gonna be really nice. That's a new line in Python. Just makes a blank like line, like a separator, as you can see there. Now if we do that, okay, let's try adding multiple products to cart. So let's do, using our method, let's do ATC. Let's do 2 different products. So we're going to be adding that one jacket, but we're also going to add, I'm happy I went with the cart solution that displays multiple products and not just one. So let's just do this t-shirt in Excel. Let's get this variant ID, and let's make it there. So now it's going to add one and then add another. All right, cool. And then it should print out the cart. Ideally, this is a beta, so we have no idea if this is actually going to work. Cool. T-shirt and that. Also at the top, given we're already printing, yeah, okay. At the top, given we're already printing both of the things, I want to print out product price, I mean the total cart price up top. So let's pull up the JSON again. Not this one. This one. That's called total price. And then we'll print out the total price at top, and I think that'll be done with the whole cart thing. And yeah, what am I doing? Oh yeah. Okay, that works. And it's just total price. So you print out that. You're gonna print out. I should probably. There's a much more efficient way to print out all this stuff on one line, but this is how I'm gonna do it now. Oh, status code 200. Where's it at? Oh yeah. Okay, or not. Let's full screen this. Close this. I think we can dot encode a UTF-8. It's a way to force fix things on these codec errors. Yeah, see, that'll fix it all. Let me just space out there. Yeah, let me add one more separator to make it look better. Actually, I don't even need text as its price. It'd look cleaner if it just had the amount, because you could probably figure for yourself that it's the total. Yeah. Let me space this. Off-white cart. I'll go ahead and get rid of the status code, because when you're doing multiple HTCs, that gets kind of redundant. Let's see it. Yeah, I like that. Off-white cart, quantity 2. One more space, and then it's gonna be perfect. I'm kind of a stickler for formatting. 2. Yeah, it's pretty nice, and it just lists out like a receipt, all the items in your cart. Yeah, I'm quite content with this script right now. Kind of does everything I need it to do on the first day. So it's got browser support, great request support. Doesn't even use beautiful soup yet. Although I do think tomorrow or whenever I decide, so I think later this week when I do another live stream and I keep working on the script, I think what I'm gonna add is a keyword feature. Obviously, we're gonna need that for the Jordans. So it'll just scan a web page, find the product, go in, and it'll print out the variant IDs. So then you can get them, if that makes any sense. So yeah, I don't know if any of you or how many of you stayed and watched the whole thing, but if you did, I really appreciate it. I'm probably gonna stop it now unless you have any ending questions or requests. But yeah, I think that was pretty good. Only one little slip up and we fixed it pretty quickly. And now we got a pretty nice script made here. If this is too fast paced, just let me know. Yeah, cool. And this is my first live stream, so like if it was shit, it's only gonna get better from here, so don't worry. You're in good hands. But script, great progress for the first day once again. Thanks for all for watching, and have a nice night.